Hey Big God family, it's Pastor Katie. I just wanted to pop in tonight and share a story with you, a bedtime story. But before I do, I want to just mention, I know things are different and you might be feeling a little confused or overwhelmed as we're home for 2 weeks, as church is closed for 2 weeks. But I want to remind you that as we share kindness, as we care for one another, we are being the church. And so one of the ways I wanted to be the church for you tonight is to share with you one of my very favorite stories. Maybe God is like that too. It's a new book, just came out by Jennifer Grant. It's got beautiful illustrations, and I hope you'll enjoy listening to it. I live in the city where the sidewalks and subways can be packed with buses, packed with people, but I've never seen God before. Grandma, does God live in the city? I asked one morning at breakfast. Yes, God is here, she said. You just need to know where to look. Whenever you see love, joy, and peace, God is there, she says, stirring her tea. Wherever there's patience and kindness and goodness, God is there too. When you see faithfulness and gentleness and self-control, that's God's Spirit at work. On the way to school, I'm on the lookout. I see buses full of tourists and count 10 bright yellow taxis. I spy a man sweeping his stoop, and Grandma and I laugh when we see a tiny purple dog wearing a fluffy purple sweater. I think the sweater's purple, not the dog. At school, Grandma hands me my lunch and hugs me close before she says goodbye. That's what love looks like to me. Maybe that's what God looks like too. On the swings, I pump so hard I see over the wall into the alley, and my friends shout higher and higher as my feet fly way up into the sky. That's what joy looks like to me. Maybe God's like that too. Outside, the car horns blast and the sirens scream, but my classroom is quiet and calm. That's what peace looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. I try to tie my shoes, but the laces tangle around my fingers, so my teacher sits down beside me and shows me how to tie them. That's what patience looks like to me. Maybe God's like that too. On the way home, I see a doorman wearing a red cape and a hat with a shiny brim, and he's holding the door open for a man using a wheelchair. The man moves very slowly, and the doorman chats with him and smiles. That's what kindness looks like to me. Maybe God's like that too. While I'm setting the table for dinner, there's a knock at the door. It's our neighbor from downstairs bringing us a loaf of bread. It's golden brown and warm and wrapped in a thin white towel. That's what goodness looks like to me. Maybe God's like that too. After dinner, I work on my homework while Grandma stands at the kitchen sink, washing the dishes and humming to herself, just like she does every single night. That's what faithfulness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. At bedtime, Grandma sits at the edge of my bed, singing me a lullaby and stroking my head. She tucks my blankets up close around me. That's what gentleness looks like to me. Maybe God's like that too. I lie in bed watching the curtains flutter. I want to talk about that dog we saw today and how high I can swing, but Grandma says that once I'm tucked in, I have to stay in bed until morning. So I close my eyes and I try to fall asleep. That's what self-control looks like to me. Maybe God's like that too. I saw God over and over again today. Whenever I saw love and joy and peace, wherever I saw patience and kindness and goodness, when I saw faithfulness and gentleness and self-control, I saw God's Spirit at work. I don't see God the way I see my friends or the streetlights or the river, but I see signs of God's Spirit all around me right here in the city. I know what God is like, and maybe I can be like that too. From our scripture, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 through 23. Well, I would love for you guys to be looking out for God on the move here in our community, even as we're stuck at home. See how you can see God moving in your kindness of your family, in the ways that you're taking care of your neighbors, and how you're sharing goodness and mercy everywhere you go. And tonight, may you rest well, Love you.